crossing the Red Sea. When the Israelites had gone, the Pharaoh repented on what he had done. He commanded his troops to bring all the Israelites back and punish them. The Israelites had reached the Red Sea when they saw the soldiers from afar. There was panic. Ahead was the sea, and behind them were the soldiers coming to kill them. But Moses told them not to worry. He raised his hand, and suddenly strong winds parted the sea to create a narrow dry path. The Israelites hurried till they reached dry land. The Egyptian soldiers also followed the Israelites. But as soon as the Pharaoh's enemy entered the dry path, God made the sea roll back in again. All the Egyptians were drowned in the water. The Israelites saw all this and realized how powerful God was. They rejoiced and sang songs in the name of God. The 10 Commandments. Moses led the Israelites to Mount Sinai, where God had first spoken to him. God called Moses and gave him his 10 commandments. The first commandment was to put God first. This meant that nothing should be more important than God. The second was that people must not worship idols of stone or wood. The third was that they must keep God's name holy. The fourth was to keep one day for rest. The fifth was to be respectful towards parents. The sixth was not to hurt others. The seventh was not be unfaithful to one another. The eighth was that they must not steal. The ninth was not to tell lies. And the 10th was not to be envious of other people. People made a promise to God to abide by these rules. This promise between God and His people was called the covenant. God would be their God and they would be God's people. The Fall of Jericho. Moses had grown old. So he asked God to choose a new leader after he had gone. God chose a man called Joshua. He led the Israelites to Canaan, the promised land. But the city of Jericho was well defended with high walls. Moses drew his last breath looking at the promised land. God told Joshua how to attack Jericho. So Joshua led the people around the city once a day for 6 days. On the 7th day, they walked 7 times. The priest blew the trumpets, the people shouted, and finally, as God had said, the high wall collapsed. Jericho was destroyed as God had ordered. Joshua dedicated all the gold, silver, and other treasures to God's service. He placed a curse on anyone who would rebuild the city. Word spread as to how Joshua had defeated Jericho. They knew that God was there for his people. Brave Gideon. With time, people forgot God. This made him angry. So he sent an army of the Midianites to punish them. The Midianites raided the Israelites' farms and stole crops and animals. The Israelites went to God and apologized to him. They asked for his help. God called on Gideon, a poor farmer, and said, "You are to drive the army of Midianites out of the city. But first, destroy the altars of all the other gods in the city." Gideon did so. Then he decided to attack the Midianites at night. He gave each of his soldiers a trumpet and a flaming torch hidden in a jug. At night, on his signal, the soldiers sounded the trumpets and broke the jugs. All the noise and the lights gave an impression that a very big army was attacking the Midianites. The Midianites got scared and fled in terror. Gideon won without striking a single blow.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.